Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFIsh Report. I'm your host, Louisa. This is Friday, May 3rd, 2019. It's been a very interesting week, hasn't it? This is the POTUS Press briefs for the week, April 29th to May 3rd. I'm going to focus more on May because there's an awful lot, and I want to keep this short as I had intended for the POTUS press briefs. So we're probably going to focus more on what's been going on in May. But all the press releases are posted on the blog, so please go to the blog and you can go there for all the details. As we all know, Attorney General Barr did testify this week regarding the Mueller report, and of course, you know, as expected, the Democrats are unhappy with the report that Mueller gave, or the characterization. I don't know. They're making up anything because they're really desperate and they're making up anything. I want to make it very clear that people, understand that for new people tuning in, not for our regular viewers, first of all, if you don't like what I have to say, then don't watch this channel. That it's that simple. There's no reason for people to go into the comment section and defecate verbally, okay? There's no reason for it other than being a troll, in which you are blocked, and because of you, we're going to disable comments, so nobody gets to make any comments anymore. So it's just that in this day and age, this is what it comes to. Because as we know, the Democrats have to use the Trojan horse of censorship, political correctness, because they have nothing left to use. As we saw today, that Alex Jones was banned from Twitter and Facebook, as well as Laura Loomer and a few other people. And, folks, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. I think for the people the sheep who are still asleep, who are indifferent, who don't want to be bothered, their life is wonderful and hunky-dory and it hasn't affected them yet. They still have their cheek turned looking the other direction, and they could care less about how this really impacts them because it hasn't affected them yet. But this is a First Amendment issue. It's everybody's argument. It's everybody's First Amendment. We either have a rule of law in this country or we don't. I mean, it's that simple. If we have no faith in our judiciary, then we have nothing but tyranny, and you better get ready. You better get ready. That's all I have to say. So I think there's a plan in place. We have our military sworn to protect our country from enemies, foreign and domestic, and we have domestic enemies, and that's who infiltrated our government, and that's who is trying to destroy our government and our country through the Trojan horse of political correctness, and that's going to destroy and erode our values and who we are as Americans. And folks, don't let it happen. Don't go crying that nobody warned you, because we've been doing this for 4 years now, and we've been sounding the alarm. We've been subjected to censorship, having our channels deleted and not restored, harassment, threats on my personal life, threats on my family, threats on my website, for the whole GoldFIsh Report. It's, there's, when you're over the target, when you're telling the truth and the truth threatens the power of very powerful people, then, that's the result of it. So, if you want to see your country be destroyed, if you want, to stand by and watch this happen, I suggest that you watch from afar, because I don't think that it's very American, and I don't think that you have the right to be here if you're not going to defend it, quite honestly. So, but that's just my personal opinion, and who really cares, right? Who cares? So let's just get on with this, and let's just do this. Because really, folks, I'm your next door neighbor. I'm your sister, your brother, your aunt, your cousin. I'm just like every other American who wants to enjoy the protection our Constitution gives us. But if there's no respect for the rule of law, we have no country and no Constitution, and we certainly have no country anymore. So, let's hope that this is moving in the right direction with President Trump. It's definitely not moving in the right direction with the Democrats, because they are the socialist group, and there's just no possible way that they can that they could ever win, in my opinion, another election. So we don't want socialism in this country. If you want socialism, go to Venezuela, go and live with them. You know, there's a lot of people who are there who will give you a snapshot of what socialism is really like. And if that's what you want, then you can go there. You don't have to, you're not going to bring it here. That's for sure. President Trump said in many of his speeches, in his rallies, it will never happen here. We will never give up our Second Amendment. We will never, and President Trump is supporting our First Amendment on college campuses, no matter how much they try to destroy it. And we're going to go over what President Trump is doing to help restore our republic. So we're going to start screen sharing that right now. Sorry about my rant, but you know, you just get tired of seeing it, and you get tired of seeing people turn their head and be indifferent until it actually affects them. So we're either in this together, or you know, we're either you know, in this together, or we're enemies. I don't know how else to put it. So here we have the West Wing from yesterday, May 2nd. We have Ivanka Trump, who has been paving the way on economic progress. She was in Africa, working on, you know, trying to help develop entrepreneurship and prosperity initiative for women there. That's wonderful news. We also have, you know, Maria Bartiromo was on Fox. She was over down at the border. She was talking about what was going on down there. She had her camera crew, which everybody probably saw. We have smugglers, human smugglers, running radio ads in Central America, offering to transport people into the U.S. So we have a problem, folks. We have a big problem at the border. You know, what we have, with the good things we have, are what's going on with the consumer spending, with the Commerce Department, with the jobs number and the consumer gross goods, the economic growth. That is the good news. So that's definitely something that is good to talk about. Here we have a proclamation by the president for National Foster Care Month. So that's interesting. You can come here onto the blog and take a look at this. We know that foster care is a little bit problematic too. So I'm very curious, you know, about the timing of this. Okay, so, but, you know, foster care is sometimes necessary, unfortunately, so it's a good thing. Okay, so presidential memorandum on delegation of authority under Section 5 of the United States Caribbean Strategic Engagement Act of 2016. You can go here and read this. So I guess this is just provisions. Memorandum shall apply to all provisions of any future public law. Okay, so this is also published in the Federal Register if you want to go check that out and look at that there as well. Okay. Here we have Ivanka. This is more about what her objectives were with regard to empowering women economically, with regard to Ethiopia, women's. So she spoke with someone regarding who was a top exporter of handmade woven garments and pottery. And that's great because, you know, lots of people like to have these things that are imported. You know, they like to buy these kinds of products. So it's really great to see them, and they're doing it in their traditional native technique. So there's more on this. There's a lot more about it. You can come here to the blog and take a look at it. This is important. What the president's doing here is nomination sent to the Senate. We have more, but this is just one here that he's talking about. Chad Bungard of Maryland should be member of the Merit Systems Protection Board for the term of 7 years. Okay, so you can go check that out. We have a statement by the president regarding the enthronement of His Majesty Emperor Naruhito. So this is the new Emperor of Japan, of course, and this was they sent their congratulations and looking forward to brighter future and good things coming together with the United States, I suppose, with trade. Renew strong bonds of friendship between our two countries, as he said there. So that's important. As you know, we had Secretary Mnuchin in China this week as well with Robert Lighthizer, who is our trade representative, and I believe they're on their way here. I think the president's also on his way. I don't really talk about his schedule that much because it's so, you know, readily available to people. And I do publish it on our Twitter and on the blog. It's just a daily schedule, but when something significant comes up, you know, we will talk about it. There's some things I do know that's coming up that are embargoed right now, so I can't discuss it. But once it's out on the press, we'll talk about it. So here we have West Wing Reads. This is about Venezuela again, and it's definitely a big deal. I mean, this is, um, according to the reports that are coming in, the Venezuelans, most of them want this. They don't like living in the socialist um, deprivation that they're living in, and perpetual poverty. Things are not good economically. I think everybody could agree with down there, and so it really does look like that. Uh, the president is working with uh, partners to try to get a hold of that situation and hopefully do this peacefully. We have other issues here still regarding um, the U.S.-Mexico border. Um, Also, we have something about it's like National Space Day or something like that, which I'll screen share when we get to that. We're jumping ahead a little bit. Here we have remarks by the president welcoming the 2018 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Joey Logano. You can go here and read the quotes here from his visit to the White House. So that was very nice. We have a few more proclamations. This one is regarding National Physical Fitness Month and Sports Month for 2019. So that's really good. It's really good to kind of highlight getting exercise and overall health and everything. And I think a lot of people do, but we are very, very busy with our jobs and our families. And sometimes we just don't have time to squeeze that in. So it's nice to acknowledge that, kind of get us all reminded that our New Year's resolution, we need reminders and a little push to get that going. Okay, so here we have what's interesting, and you'll find this to be interesting in light of the testimony this week. A proclamation by the President of the United States of America, Law Day, USA. So that we renew our commitment to the rule of law and our Constitution. The president says it right here, as I was talking at the top of the report. This is his commitment. He made a proclamation for it, for goodness sakes, okay? The rule of law requires that no one be above the obligation of the law or beneath its protections, and it stands as a bulwark against the arbitrary use of government power. Absolutely, folks. Abuse of power is what we are seeing with this Mueller not the Mueller, but the FISA investigation. Mueller report was trying to cover things up to some extent. And, clearly we have a lot that's going to be coming out. And I think the president was talking to Fox News this morning and said that, everything's going to come out eventually. As soon as whoever was, I guess, the Judiciary Committee requests it, he will declassify, and he will release everything, he said. So that was very interesting. So you can go here. This is great. It's a great to see this. And, it's a reminder that at least this president is committed to the rule of law. So let's keep going. Here's another one. Go to the blog, though, please, and check it out. Read it for yourself. Here we have, this was for May 1st, we have the president announcing his intent to nominate individuals to key administration posts. We have Philip Goldberg of the District of Columbia to be Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the United States of America to the Republic of Colombia. We have Jessica Le Pen of the District of Columbia to be Representative of the United States of America to the African Union. So that's a few more. There will be more coming up, I think, for today's post. There's more for today. Here we have a text of a letter from the President and the Chairman of the House and Senate Committee on Armed Services and the House Committee on Foreign Affairs and the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. Excuse me. This is regarding defense spending for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. I thought, someone facetiously called it North American Terrorist Organization, which NATO is sometimes, sarcastically, in satire or maybe in sarcasm referred to. So this is including this as well. And we also know that, and I reported this Monday in the POTUS report with Dr. Jim Fetzer, that the president last week had also removed his, withdrew our signature from the small arms treaty, the UN Small Arms Treaty, which would have uh, really kind of taken our sovereignty from us in terms, and of course our Second Amendment rights as well. So the president's doing the right thing to protect our sovereignty and to protect our rule of law and our Constitution in this country. Okay, and if the Democrats don't like it, they can go to another country. They don't have to stay here, but this is our Constitution, folks. It's our Constitution. Here's an executive order, America's cybersecurity workforce. Take a look at this. So this is really a big deal because we need to have strengthening cybersecurity and infrastructure. And so this is talking all about that. Definitely go here and take a look. It's a long read. I want to try to get through this a little bit quicker. And here it is, the statement from the president on America's cybersecurity workforce. There's more than 300,000 cybersecurity job vacancies exist in the United States today, folks. So we got to find people to be technically, skilled to handle these jobs. So this is really great. So, check it out if that's something that interests you. Also, we have, and this was it here again, he was talking about it in a little bit more detail. This gives you the bullet points on what it outlines in terms of the framework, helping identify, recruiting, and developing, retaining cybersecurity talent and things of that nature. So if you have some background in that, check this out and see if this is something that will help you. Again, May 2nd, we have the president approving Oregon disaster declaration regarding the storms, flooding, landslides, etc., and the damage that it caused. And then, of course, we have our lovely First Lady, Melania, who hosted an event to celebrate Be Best. And so she's doing such a great job with this. And I'm so proud of her because she really is trying to, be very positive in her message. That's what's most important. It's very positive. So, and people need to have positive messages, okay? There's so much hate coming from the far left. There's just nothing but hate. And it's such a pleasant, relief to have a positive message coming from the White House. And there always has been. There's wonderful messages coming. But it's lovely that our First Lady is a gracious ambassador of positive messages. So, and she does do that very, very well. So let's go down here for today. We're going to start with nominations sent to the Senate. As I referred to earlier, the president's been busy. This was published today. Well, this was for yesterday. There'll be more. I think that, yeah, there's more judicial nominees after this as well. So we have, you can take a look at this. This is for Senior Foreign Service, Ambassador Extraordinaire. We have more of that, more ambassadors here named. We have more UN, 10-year representatives of the UN. We have here a judge for the Court of Appeals, wonderful. Another judge for District of Columbia. Chief Financial Officer of the Department of Transportation, and Export-Import Bank of the U.S. It's interesting that the president gets to nominate the vice president for a Export-Import Bank of the United States. I'm going to look into that a little bit more and find out what that's all about. It's not my, I don't have an in-depth knowledge on every department. Okay, so here we go. President Trump praised with faith leaders at the White House. As you know, it's a national day of prayer yesterday. And so a lot of faith leaders were there at the White House in the Rose Garden. And they were, the president reaffirmed that every citizen has the absolute right to live according to their teachings of their faith and the convictions of their heart. To protect his heritage, my administration has strongly defended religious liberty. That's great. But what happens when your religion directly opposes another one and allows you, or you think it gives you some sort of liberty to offend other people or to restrict other people from expressing their freedom of expression? So this is definitely going to be an interesting, debate. It's really what's happening. It's a big debate. The farther we drift away from our identity as Americans, and then the further we're going to lose our identity, quite honestly. if we, everybody has the right to express themselves freely. So to request women to wear hijabs is unreasonable because, so we don't offend somebody, or don't put a Santa Claus out on our front lawn so we don't offend a Muslim. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen here. If it does, it's probably unconstitutional. But who has the money? Who has the money to litigate that? You can't afford, First Amendment is not free. Free speech is not free, folks, if you cannot afford to defend it. So that is the message of the day. So the Trump economy soars to new heights. So they're talking about this. CNBC is talking about it. We have CNN actually talking about it. Believe it or not, the fake news network, Trump's approval rating on the economy hits a new high. They're telling the truth. You know why? Because of us, because of GoldFIsh Report, because of all the alternative media out there, because of let's see, who else is out there? I mean, we've got our friend X22, we've got Dave at X22, we've got all these other alternative news media sources who are reporting the truth. So they're going to get left behind if they don't start reporting the truth, because they can't take everybody off the internet. They may try. They may definitely try. We have Market Watch, we have CNBC, Reuters, Gallup, Market Watch, everybody's, Wall Street Journal, everybody talking about how great the economy's doing. So go check this out and take a look at all the details if you'd like. Here we have the president. This was from yesterday, a message in commemoration of the 77th anniversary of the Battle of the Coral Sea. You can go take a look at this. This was an American and Australian naval and air force fought together to protect our shared values of freedom and democracy. So go check that out. Another West Wing reads, again, referring to the job surge in April and unemployment rates falling to the lowest since 1969, folks. That's a long time ago. So it's good news. Go here and check it out. Check out all the comments and different news sources that are referred to there. Here we have the president announcing his intent to nominate personnel to key administration posts. Here we have Robert Wallace of Wyoming to be Assistant Secretary for Fish and Wildlife, Department of Interior. Okay, so that's a good, making sure he's filling those vacancies. Remarks by the President Trump and Prime Minister Pellegrini of the Slovak Republic before bilateral meeting. Before I mention this, I just wanted to say that there was also, it's not out yet from the press office, but I was looking at the pool reports, the press pool reports, and they were talking about the ambassador from Mexico who was trying to, push open free access, open free borders between U.S. and Mexico. So the ambassador to Mexico was not happy with the idea of this wall, and that will probably be out sometime tonight. So we'll report that. It'll be on the blog for sure over the weekend, but by the time they write up a press release on that. But you can check that out. Here we have, again, the Prime Minister Pellegrini of the Slovak Republic before a bilateral meeting in the office, and then they also have a a press statement here regarding their actual meeting. So you can check this out. It's difficult. It's not difficult. It's in detail, and they're working together. The Americans and Slovaks are working together in Afghanistan and Iraq, and as participants in NATO's enhanced forward presence battle groups. So they're trying to increase and modernize their armed forces, and they're purchasing F-16 aircraft from the U.S. So, this is about trade. It's always about trade. President Trump is the master of the deal maker, so it's all about trade. Good trade, good neighbors. So here we have we have more nominees, as I mentioned at the beginning here. This was published for today. This is for judicial nominees, United States Attorney and United States Marshal nominees. This is really important. We have new circuit judge Peter Phillips of Pennsylvania to serve as the new circuit judge in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit. All right, here we go. I'm happy to see that. Douglas R. Cole of Ohio to serve as judge on the U.S. District Court for Southern District of Ohio. We have Charles Eskridge III of Texas to serve as the U.S. Judge for the Southern District of Texas. We have Kia Riggs of New Mexico to serve as Judge U.S. District Court of the District of New Mexico. We have William Shaw Stickman IV of Pennsylvania to serve as Judge on the U.S. District Court for Western District of Pennsylvania. U.S. District Court there. Jennifer Philpott Wilson of Pennsylvania to serve as judge on the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Pennsylvania. Excellent to see. So it still goes on and on. So this is wonderful. Can't wait to see the new judges for New Jersey. William D. Hislop of Washington to serve as United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Washington. We have Vincent DeMarco of New York to serve as the United States Marshal for the Eastern District of New York. We have Peter Vito of New York to serve as the Marshal for Western District of New York. We have Wilmer Ocasio of Puerto Rico to serve as United States Marshal for the District of Puerto Rico. So, you know, the president's been very busy. He confirmed his 100th judge last week, and that was also a big deal. Please take notice of these things. The president's very, very busy. Okay, here we have a statement today from the press secretary regarding the Czech Republic for hosting the Prague 5G Security Conference. It was an extremely productive meeting on the need for secure telecommunications networks, as the game-changing next-generation wireless telecommunications networks, known as 5G, become the new global system. A lot of people have concerns about this 5G, and of course, you know, there's no safety. I haven't seen any safety. I've seen so many reports on this 5G, and there's just no safety, and I think we all have the right to find out how this is being implemented and how it's going to affect us, because it's going to fry us if we don't, you know, if we don't ask and don't ensure that there's safety mechanisms in all of this wireless technology. We're going to really walk around with our brains scrambled, which is what it does to us. So, okay, so go here, take a look. You can go to the blog, as you can see here. There will be probably a few more updates before the night is out, because it's only 5 o'clock right now on the Eastern time. And there will likely be more press releases before the day is out, and they will be published on the blog. So please go there and check it out. Folks, we'll be back on Monday with another POTUS report with Dr. Jim Fetzer, who happens to be going through a very big lawsuit right now. First Amendment and every other way, okay? This is regarding the Lenny Posner, Jim Fetzer lawsuit. And we'll see what happens. You know, I'm very... I don't know if the country is ready for the truth about these false flags, but you know, I support Jim because I support our First Amendment. I don't have to agree with him, and our viewers know we don't always agree, and that's okay. You know, we do have different opinions sometimes, but I do respect his opinion. I respect his right to have his opinion, I should say, and I don't always agree with it, but he doesn't always agree with mine. But that's okay. That's what makes the world go round. So. In this democracy that we live in, this republic, I should say. And folks, I hope you all have a really great weekend. And let's just hope that things are moving along in the positive way that we think that they are. And, you know, take care of your brother, take care of your neighbor, take care of somebody else. Please don't turn your cheek and look the other way when somebody's struggling. Really at no reason of their own. There's a lot of obstacles out there, folks. We're not out of the woods yet, but we are going in the right direction, I believe, with President Trump. So keep following us on GoldFIsh Report, and we'll keep bringing it to you. Have a great weekend, and thanks for viewing. This concludes this edition of the GoldFIsh Report.